Free speech is the cornerstone of any civilised society. This is Speaker's Corner in London, and it's a powerful symbol of the freedoms enjoyed in Britain. For more than 150 years, people have flocked here on Sundays to give vent to their opinions. Making racist comments is illegal, otherwise anything goes. If you try to censor free speech, then human rights can be abused.
You faggot!
If there aren't any voices to challenge a particular viewpoint, then obviously it's going to have more authority, more influence, more impact than in a community where all kinds of different ideas are being freely exchanged all the time and challenged.
The new stereo, the new pop, whatever. Is that healthy?
We put our right to free speech to the test. Actor Anthony Gabriel wore a secret microphone. We filmed the reactions of the crowd.
How many families are broken up? I think people with disabilities, if they can find out before they're born, they shouldn't be there. They should be terminated.
No, you said earlier on you weren't in favour of that. So now you have got a hidden agenda here. I asked you whether you were in favour of eugenics, and you said no. Now you're saying you want disabled people terminated. So let us have your true agenda here.
Consider to be disabilities. Is homosexuality a disability in your mind?
Sickness.
Sickness.
He's skidding around the issues.
I think if somebody's going to be born into the world, you can find out before they're born into the world that they're going to have a terrible, terrible life of hardship and misery.
But what if
why give that person that life?
What if they let's look through history. Look through history. Look at creative people who have had horrible lives, horrible things happen to them, but they've written books, or they've written theatre, or they've written things which have inspired other people.
Who?
Stephen Hawking. What about Bach?
Hawking's a good example. Absolutely, I agree with you.
Right,
but somebody else would come along with great ideas.
But you would have them killed.
I would have them before they were born.
Right.
So would you terminate people with mental illnesses?
I think if it's something which is hereditary, I think it'd be very worth doing. If there's madness in the family,
then you would also be terminated yourself.
I didn't agree with his views or his statements, and I felt that somebody needed to say something. The rest of the crowd was quite placid and not saying much.
I think the worst thing that could happen is someone comes to Speaker's Corner, says things and is unchallenged, especially if they're not very well thought through or they're just downright offensive.
All I'm here is presenting my opinion. Whether people agree with me or not is not the point. Whether they hear me is the point.
Obviously things have worked in the past.
No matter how outrageous our actors' comments, people fell into one of two groups. They either just listened or shouted back. In social psychology, they're known as the bystander and the dissenter, and that is step 4.
Free speech is extremely important, and the freedom of expression is important precisely because it's important to be able to dissent from regimes that are tyrannous or anti-democratic.
That again takes us back rather to the idea of how wars and brutality and gross criminal abuse of human rights occurs. It only occurs, it seems to me, within the context of relative silence.
Suppression of all rebellion, suppression of all dissenting opinions is the hallmark of tyranny. That is, it is not to allow any opposition, not to allow any alternative perspective on the illusion that they have created. Typically an illusion that they will give you security, that they will give people a better way of life, when in fact what they are doing is taking away people's freedom and people's liberty.
Every day the papers are full of horrors around the globe. And what do the majority of us do? Nothing. Yet being a bystander is one of the most essential ingredients of maintaining a tyranny. We're at Lancaster University to look at this very issue. Psychologist Dr. Mark Levine is getting to the heart of why we do or don't help others.
If you ask people whether they'd help, nearly everybody says, of course I would, because we don't want to be seen as not caring for other people. But actually all the research says that by and large people don't help. They turn away. If there's any reason for not looking, they won't look.
Mark Levine has chosen football to look at this problem. In Britain, football represents one of the most powerful ways in which people divide themselves into us and them. The team strips mark their differences. He's used these strong allegiances to see how the tribal instinct can affect our ability to help or to turn a blind eye to others in need.
We wanted to show that it's when people feel that they have some kind of relationship to a stranger that they'd be more likely to help them. And football is a really good domain for doing this kind of thing because football fans feel powerful bonds to other football fans.
In the contest, James well out. Cole, oh dear, oh, we can do without that. A little bit of trouble.
Dr. Levine chose one of the most intense rivalries, that between Manchester United and Liverpool. It's explosive, both on and off the pitch.
The crowd have been warm in their rivalry and no more.
We took 4 secret cameras and a stuntman to the Lancaster campus to catch on film whether people will help a stranger in distress. All the unsuspecting test subjects will be Manchester United fans. The stuntman will fall in their path wearing either a Manchester United or a Liverpool strip. When will the fans play the Good Samaritan? First, our stuntman is in a Manchester United shirt, as the Manchester United supporter approaches. A positive result. Even though it's raining, she helps her fellow fan into the building. Next, we try the Liverpool strip. This Manchester United fan sees the fall, but sprints inside.
Here we go.
It's wearing a suit, looks very smart, carrying the questionnaire.
Back now in the Manchester shirt, our stuntman falls in front of another United supporter.
Oh, jeez. Oh, you want to stand on your left? Yeah, I'll just...
Another positive result. The common bond overcomes any embarrassment or inconvenience. Back to the rival teams again. The Liverpool shirt goes back on. This Manchester United supporter hardly stops long enough to see if he's okay before disappearing into the building.
So what did you do?
I asked if he was okay. I didn't walk over, I asked if he was okay.
And one of the first things you noticed was he was wearing a Liverpool shirt?
Yeah. I think it was the red colour more than anything that draws me, and then I saw the letter. I thought, ooh. Should have left him.
Our stuntman fell in front of 12 Manchester United fans. He was helped to his feet every time he wore a United shirt. He was left to help himself every time he wore a Liverpool shirt. Dr. Mark Levine's ongoing research into the issue of bystander behaviour backs up the results of our small study.
On the one hand, the positive thing about this research is it demonstrates that when we feel ties to other people, then we're more likely to help them. The negative side of this research potentially suggests that when we see people as out-group members, as others, then we're less likely to go and help them than we might normally be. People have tremendous anxiety over their decisions to intervene and also not to intervene. Nobody easily turns away. Being a bystander doesn't mean doing nothing. If you don't intervene, that's an active decision not to get involved. And it's when people don't get involved, when they see any kind of injustice, that injustice is allowed to continue.